Hey everyone, Terrence here. So, Project Justice League. I just recently heard about this. I saw it trending on Twitter and I started reading people's comments on it. And then I went to see the video on YouTube. The version that I saw was the 45-minute cut. I think they called it the ultimate version. Anyhow, that's the one I checked out. And then after I did that, I started doing some research on it. And apparently, this was done for charity. I'm gonna be real with you. I have said stuff about Zack Snyder's movies. I have said stuff about his fan base. But at the end of the day, it still was great that they was able to put this together and do it for a good cause. Now, apparently, this is based after the storyboards of Justice League 2, Justice League 3, done by Zack Snyder, Jim Lee, and Jeff Johns. So again, this is fan made. They are basically going off what they saw in the first Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, and the stuff from the storyboard. I do remember Zack Snyder saying, or the daughter read him somewhere saying that he probably would have changed some things, or he might have would have added some things. But the version that we saw on the storyboard would not have been the version that we saw in the movies. I don't know how true that would have been. But anyway, let's begin this review of Project Justice League. So if you guys can watch this video to the end, I'm also going to give my thoughts on James Gunn's new DCU, my thoughts on the firing of Henry Cavill, my thoughts on those hashtags, and everything about the brand new DCU. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the good. The good is the artwork is fantastic. They look just like the actors. It's very smooth, very clean. They did very good work on it. I also like the voice acting. The voice acting is wow, because they really do sound like the actors. Even the guy who did Lex Luthor voice sounds just like that version of Lex Luthor, whether you like it or not. And now for the bad being the story. Okay, so if you enjoyed Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, his version of Justice League, you probably would like this. If you're like me, you would hate this, because I hate this. This is definitely in the vibe of what he was going with. It being overly dark, the story not making sense, the story feeling rushed, feeling like you're just trying to do like this Lord of the Rings, 3 films, boom, bang, out, all that shit. I do not like it. The biggest thing I don't like is the story arc with Superman. In the first Man of Steel, I felt that he was not treated fully like Superman. Batman vs Superman, he was treated very poorly. He even died in his second appearance. Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, he comes back towards the end, and still, it was cool looking, but it didn't feel right. Didn't feel like Superman to me. It's like at what point do you start having him act and feel like Superman? So in this one, Lois is knocked up by Batman, and Superman kind of has a vibe that that's what it is and everything. And Superman turns bad because Lois gets killed, and this is what starts the whole nightmare scenario we saw inside the other films. It all comes true. It all comes to life, and the Justice League, they gotta stop it. Basically, Batman sends flashback in time, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on with it. It's just that I don't feel like that should have been your part 2 and your part 3. Again, I ask, when do you start having Superman start acting and feeling like Superman? I know that Zack said he really enjoyed Injustice. If you was bringing this Superman to life after the last time you saw a live action Superman, which was in Superman Return, you would want him to feel like Superman from the comic books or Superman from the previous movies that the general audience are used to. So it takes 5 films for him to feel like Superman. I ain't feeling that. I also feel the other Justice League members really didn't have too much to do. Again, this is a 45-minute fan film, so it's not really as fleshed out as you could be. It's like a little this, a little that. But at the same time, I don't think Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, who was huge in the last one, had much to do. I mean, you had the blueprint right there with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. If you don't want to read the comic books, because that's what it's coming across like, that these people don't want to read the comic books, and I'm including his fan base. If you don't want to read the comic books, watch Justice League Unlimited. Hell, watch Young Justice. Hell, watch Super Friends. Watch any of that shit, because then you see how these characters are supposed to act. And I feel myself getting upset, and I shouldn't be getting upset, because these are fictional characters. None of this is real. None of this is important. But at the same time, why are you doing my characters like this? Everything just feels rushed. And when something feels rushed, it doesn't feel important. It doesn't feel organic. You add that on top of a really bad story, and you got yourself a bad movie, or what would have been a bad movie. And whether you want to admit it or not, Warner Brothers had to step in, because at the end of the day, this is their property. And they have every right to say, no, I don't like this. They had every right to shut this down. Now, if this wasn't for charity, if the artwork wasn't so great, if the music wasn't so good, if the voice acting wasn't so good, I would definitely give this 2 thumbs down. But I'm giving it 1 thumbs down. It's corny. So going with the James Gunn stuff, when James Gunn was first announced, everyone was like a mixed bag of feelings. I myself was extremely excited about this, because I enjoy his work. Now, I didn't see Henry Cavill getting fired, but at the same time, I kind of understand what's going on here. You know, his version of Superman was given multiple chances, and nothing was like awesome. Nothing was talked about, only in a negative way, other than the fact that, you know, he looked like Superman. But like, even in his return as our Black Adam, people was more focused on, let's be real, people was more focused on the music and the brightness of his outfit, not the fact that this man was back. They was even calling him a traitor. Also been seeing the negative press that's been going on with The Rock, with the stuff that was going on with Black Adam flopping and him wanting control of everything in the DCU and shit. You know, it's crazy, but things had to change. At the end of the day, this is a business, and the business has to make money. It has to change minds. It has to get people talking, and in a positive way, not a negative way. You want the fans of these characters to come out to see these films, not these diehard people that be online all day making up these corny hashtags and shit. I myself, I look forward to the new DCEU, or DCU I should say, and I hope for the best for them, because they deserve to be talked about in the same light as Marvel, as the MCU, because it is comic books. Whether you want to say, oh, they different or not, at the end of the day, it's comic books. It's comic book movies. Harassing James Gunn, harassing his wife, harassing Peter, harassing the people at Warner Brothers or even DC. Like, this is ridiculous. This is some cult shit. It is not just James Gunn that's being harassed. Zack Snyder is being harassed. You guys keep adding them and hashtagging and all this other type of shit. Let that man be. He's doing his thing at Netflix. He's trying to create a whole new thing over there. He's leaving the past behind him. Maybe he doesn't even want to do this. Like, I just saw a brand new hashtag called Bring Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix. That's not how business works, people. This ran longer than I wanted it to be. But, you know, this can be critiqued. It probably won't even be watched at all. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to say something. And I'm not really one of those people that, like, I got a bitch on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, please follow me at TS Ellington on Twitter. If you like this video, if you watched it and you like this, please give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Definitely leave a comment. I love hearing people's opinions. It's human nature to disagree with things, but let's try to keep it civil here. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's. Talk to you later. Namaste.